Hello, welcome back. I'm Pat Lynch, President of the Frontier Group, and this is the second part in our series on leaders in HR, and we're having a great conversation with Reneé Maxwell, Director of Human Resources with Hans Grohe. Last segment, we kind of learned a little bit more about Reneé and the company Hans Grohe. This segment, what we're going to do is talk about cultural coaching and assimilation, and first start with the challenges that she faced in her organization around blending a range of cultures all within one organization. Reneé, kind of tell us the situation that you were facing at Hans Grohe when you came in, and kind of paint the picture for us.
Sure. I knew when I was going to work with Hans Grohe that it was a German company.
Mm-hmm.
It would be my first opportunity to work with a German company, so I was very excited about it. German company doing business in the United States, and then doing business in the United States in the Southeast. So the difference between, I'm originally from New Jersey, so a Yankee and a Southerner, is miles away from the differences that you have from a cultural perspective when you're introducing a German company into the Southeast. Being a Northerner, I can be very direct. Germans are very direct. Comes off a little bit sometimes as rude in the South. So we have one little dynamic there, and then we have an additional dynamic of having a Burmese culture, a Bosnian culture, a Croatian culture, a Vietnamese culture, and then a Latin and Central American culture. And we have all 5 cultures there in the organization with about 4 to 5 different languages as well. So when you talk about cultural differences, it goes just beyond diversity.
And if I remember in our conversations that what you have is that at Hans Grohe there's German nationals in key management positions across the organization, and then you have multiple cultures in your assembly workforce, also within the general workforce in and of itself, right? Is that kind of?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Okay.
There are fewer German nationals now than when I arrived, and that in itself was one of the challenges, that the general workforce population, understanding that they were working with a German company, didn't really understand why there were so many Germans there. And we really had to sit and have a dialogue with Germany, our home office, and with the local employees here to kind of understand that dynamic, because it generated a lot of feelings around how they interacted with our German nationals when they arrived, most of which who probably could have used a little more preparation prior to coming in to work with an American workforce.
Interesting. What would be the most common issues that you were facing in terms of the blending of the cultures?
Germans are direct, which was interpreted as rude.
Mm-hmm.
For most of the HR professionals that I know that work in multiple cultural situations, there's always that tendency from a language perspective to do something as simple as shift into your native language. Well, if you're in a meeting and the entire meeting has been held in English, except for those last 5 minutes, and the Germans switch gears and speak German, typically the people in the room become a little paranoid. Why are they speaking in German? How come they're not speaking in English? And those little nuances make a huge difference in how effective someone can be, or how effective an organization can be.
And as a HR leader, what were you seeing how were you seeing these issues manifested? Was it increased turnover, decreasing productivity? What were the outcomes?
Organizational effectiveness.
Oh, okay.
That was the biggest issue. The impact was that from a communication standpoint, from the executive level down throughout the organization, appeared to be kind of lost in terms of how did the employees hear it, how did they understand it, what exactly am I supposed to do? The Germans being very direct, sometimes it came off as overcritical. And so not very good from a motivational standpoint. And so the organization wasn't as effective, in this case profitable, as it could have been. And so we looked at or examined some of the root causes of that and found out that the lack of cultural sensitivity and a lack of cultural awareness had a great part to do with that.
Well, thanks a lot, Reneé. That this is really interesting. The challenges that Reneé faces is something that happens when you have a multicultural workforce all coming together. What we're going to find out in our next segment is what programs Reneé put in place to really address these challenges. I think it's going to be a fascinating conversation, and I really hope that you join us. Thanks a lot.